Hello, everyone. Today we have with us the people behind the music of the show Class. The feedback for the show in general, it has been positive, and also the music has really been appreciated. We were chatting before we started this recording. There are obviously music plays an important part, and there are different facets to it. One is the score of it, then obviously the syncing of the existing songs, the indie music, both from India and Pakistan, has been used. And there are original compositions for the show, and the original compositions are done by the people we have today, Aditya and Nayantara. So to start off, how did you get approached for this? What was that process? When did that begin?
So we'd been working with the Bodhi, which is the one of the two productions that got us on board. We'd been working with them on some other shows, and there was, I think, a like a big pitch which was made where they asked us all sort of submit our stuff, and we submitted our stuff, and we'd submitted for score, I think, but we got songs, which was nice. um yeah, and it just happened like.
Right. Which what year was this? Because we've just been, seeing that. I think it started in during COVID, right? The production and stuff as well.
Yeah, this was in the month of August last year. Like we got
Okay.
involved at a later stage, it was, I think they'd been in production for a while. And music usually is something that, at least like in terms of, I'm sure, all directors have musical ideas and thoughts while they're shooting, and even in pre-production sometimes, but music as a process, really starts in post. And so we come in once the edits are locked, and there's at least like a reasonable amount of clarity about like how much and what music will be used in a piece of like visual.
So I was going to come to this, that how did you guys, like, what were you obviously then had the show to kind of go by, since it's adapted from another show, so that kind of reference material is also there. So were you given kind of reference that this is what we want the songs to be like, or were you just you had all the liberty, you could do whichever genre style you wanted to?
So we started off with like a clean slate of sorts. We do ask for references in any case, but the first, like, usually the first few attempts are always like basis what we'd also want to showcase. After that is when you sort of get told that that these um that that song works, and that 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 space is a bit more bit not in the zone of the show, or whatever. So we do a few tries on our own as well, to not get so caught up with what all material is in front of us, and then we start that whole process of going with the reference tracks and stuff. Then it just helps us also keep a sort of keep a sound that we'd also want. Yeah.
I also think that the director Ashram is a DJ, and
Okay.
has worked with a lot of musicians in the past. Like he's been a big part of the underground party culture here in India. So I think that he had a lot of musical ideas, and I think that definitely influenced what the album sounds like overall in terms of like the diversity of it. Is a reflection of like the kind of music that Osham listens to and imagines in this universe of Class.
Yeah.
And So I think that was good for us in the sense that it kind of, there was where Osham's thoughts are and then what our thoughts are, and kind of bridging that gap is what this album really is.
Yeah.
It's like something between our vision and his. So
Right.
yeah. So, and I think that's like any kind of music to picture work. It's a
Mhm.
collaboration between the composers and the director to kind of, what is the essence of us, and
Yeah.
then what is the essence of your vision, and how can we kind of bring the two together.
Right. Yeah, we actually spoke to Mohan Kannan for an interview last year, and this is something that he also mentioned, that more about why more independent musicians should kind of look at it very favorably, because you have to take the cue from the person whose universe, whose vision it kind of is. So that's obviously very important. So that's really good to hear. Now, just coming to the music itself. What has the reception been? I think Girte Samhalte in particular seems to be a bit of a favorite from the from the OST, which has now been, it's on streaming platforms. What is your favorite track? Just some anecdotes about the whole thing. Yeah.
For me, it's the same one. It's whole voice, and it's a win. Like, it's that track, I think, has a really, it 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 sort of has a very special place in our hearts. More so because like our whole team, we all worked on it extensively. Each one no 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 one of us has in including our like, we worked on the track with the K K K K K sorry,
Yeah.
Keshav Dhawan.
Okay.
So all three of us have produced parts of the track, and it's been a huge collaboration.
Wow.
And then, of course, then on top of it, it's her voice. So for me, it's like, for me, that track has been special mainly because it's like a it's very close friends, and uh, uh, Chakori, she wrote the words.
Mhm.
So we guys are all so super close friends, and I think for me it's just one there. And beyond that, the way the world is seeing it is it's just great to see that.
I mean, see, I do have a soft spot for Girta Samhalta, for me, mainly because of the lyrics. Like, I think Chakori's done a fantastic job. And in fact, I actually cried while singing the track. I remember after I finished the dub, I sent her a message. I was like, kya likha hai tumne?
He sent me the track, and then
Yeah, and then I sent him the track and he was like, this is a rubbish take. That is the take that is finally of the album. But
is it?
yeah. But
I had no
anyway,
idea.
I think somebody said to me on Twitter, they said the song really makes you romanticize, like look at your life through a romantic lens. And I think that's true. Like it did that for me also. Like, just someone just put it so beautifully, a listener. But I think it kind of takes you into that dreamscape where it reminds you of like something that you've had and something that you could have also at the same time. I think that's, like, for me, the song does that, in terms of a love that has been or could be.
Right.
And yeah, so I think there's something, and for me the lyrics do that. So I really I'm really grateful to Chakori Vivedi for writing like wonderful lyrics for this song. Apart from that, I think like a song which for me is kind of personally I enjoy the fact that it sits in this album is Prism, because it's really different from the rest of the tracks. It's very much like the kind of song that I might make like as Still Ocean, and for me, like having that as part of this soundscape it's like a secret pleasure. Like to have
It isn't a
something that
secret.
is quite like different from the rest of the tracks. It's it is definitely more demanding of the listener. Like you need to be a little patient with it. And it's not the most lyrical, but I like that it's part of this album. So I
Yeah.
think like for me it's a win.
It is a win. That's a win because Still Ocean is fabulous. Like I can't wait for when she'll take her other tracks out because they're really really good, and I can't wait for the world to hear them. Um, the Girta Samhalta thought, I'll just take from what you're saying. It's such a, like, you can sense how precarious a thought it is, and it's like to get it right, and to get everyone to feel it, is especially on Farooq and Dhruv scenes, that I think uh, Ch- 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 Chakori's really nailed that. Like, it it can be really hard to, like, take care of that thought, and if that makes any sense. I'm not the most articulate, but like, it's really like it's been taken care of. that's
Yeah,
that's the way.
there's a certain tenderness to
Yeah,
it, you know. I think, and she
tenderness, like,
really got it.
yeah.
So
Yeah. And we are glad that because this is something that a lot of people kind of, I think, rightly complain of, that a lot of the favorite songs from OTT don't, whether it's the score or its original music, they don't make it onto the streaming platforms, right? Like, so you cannot listen to it again even if you love it. So I'm glad, one, it's out there. Two, there is an extended version also which is out there.
yeah, it's
And
been
credits
used for
of
end credits, so it was created for the show.
but at that point we're like, ye to ja sakta hai.
Yeah.
And it's
Should
cool to
go.
see people making reels
Yeah,
out of the non-lyrical portion of the song. You
yeah.
know, they're going for the extension, which is like the more chill,
Yeah.
more contemplative, mellow part of the song. So it's really nice that everyone's finding their own, you know,
Yeah.
like little bit that they connect with. I think that's really cool.
How's that, how is the feeling of seeing your music being part of, like, random people's reels, their imaginations? I mean, of course, some of it is obviously to kind of, if it starts trending, then you'll see like sandwiches being made to it also. But so far,
I've seen a few cakes.
yeah. So how's that feeling?
it's it's new, I'd say. Yeah, it's quite new.
Fair enough.
I mean, for me, like, I've been making music a long time, okay, in the sense that, like, my voice, because I've sung for ads, my voice has been out there for a really long time. But what happens with that, in that space, nobody know, it's completely anonymous, right? Nobody really knows who you are,
Yeah.
even though they're listening to you on a fairly regular basis. And I think what changed really with Class is that, people have started connecting the music to the people behind it. Like, that's a first for us.
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, at scale as composers, for us to have that, and for people to really find their own meaning also in each of the songs. Like, I think that's like the best thing you could ask for
sure.
as composers and musicians, to have everyone see like their own story in your song.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's something for everyone to take from these songs
That's a
as
big
well.
thing.
Something, like, from the way I've seen it. Like, I've got text saying I'm fond of this song because of XYZ. I'm fond of that song because of whatever else. And in fact, I played about 2 or 3 songs to my father, pre the launch, and के 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 Kita Samalta, of course, we knew it's our like top track for sure. But I played it to him and he's like, yeah, it's nice, but I like Patang more. So like
Yeah.
everyone, there's something that they may or may not like, and I think that's a good thing. That we had a chance to showcase so much uh, like such uh, variety in our tracks. I've rapped for the first time. Uh, very, extremely intimidating, but it's done fine. Yeah, it's good.
So, sorry, just to go back, the theme, the opening intro theme that's done by you guys, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So, what was, I mean, that's what kind of sets the tone for the series, especially for someone getting into it. I don't think I would have really because there's so much out there. I also give myself a certain amount of time, and I think the themes now are so important. They really do kind of hook you on. You have, of course, Alokananda's Sacred Games theme. You have Achin's Scam theme. So these things are also kind of like important now for composers, of course. So what was there again a specific reference point for this? Also, it really complements the visuals very well of the credits roll in. So what is, was there something specific for that? How did you guys go for something? It's kind of like haunting in a cool way. I would say, like an electronic upbeat kind of way.
I think I remember Osham saying that. Just 1 second. I'm just gonna switch off the AC. It's kind of cold.
Yeah.
So I think for the title track, finally, there is the premise of the show is that there's been a murder in a school, and then of course the show is about young people, and so the music has to have a youthful energy, but the fact that sets the tone for how everyone engages with each other was important to him. And so for this piece, there was some kind of reference. I don't remember what the name of that. We never found out what the name of the track is, and we just heard it cursorily, and there were no visuals at that point in time. So it was composed to brief, and the idea was to do something dark but also cool. That was the mandate, and so yeah, and Adi plays these really cool bells, like these detuned kind of haunting bells. And I was like, what if, I sang over it? And so like we kind of layered the two things, and then we put in a bass, and it just happened. Like it was not, it was one of the, I would say one of the quicker songs we made, for this show.
To be fair,
in terms of
many things here just happened. Like we just start off and like we'd hear what was in front of us, but you can't get stuck to what's in front of you. You have to like let go of it at some point. So we'd start off and think, what, we'll go closer to what's been sent. And then we just keep going, like, no, just scrap it. Like we've just scrapped out like full songs in like with one click, and then just started afresh with that thought in our heads.
But with other tracks, not with this track.
This track though was
this was one of the easier tracks, is what I was saying. It's like it kind of it happened there, like it happened quite organically.
Yeah.
And then the visuals, I do believe the animation, of course they had their own reference, but they did the animation on beat.
Yeah,
so that's how they synced it then to the music, because the music was already created by then.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and we didn't get to see it, like, I mean, until it was done. So it was fantastic for us also to be like, "Arey,
You guys nailed the pitch, though. I mean, it's dark and cool. It's a very, very good title track, theme, intro song. I mean, that really kind of because everything else, all the other musicality of the show comes in a lot later, right? Like you have to explore, but this now has become this kind of entry point, and so it was really well done. And in general, were there any, like, tough moments through it, like any place where you sort of even actually, basis your experience also in working in the industry for a while, uh, what kind of happens when you're stuck? Like, where do you kind of, especially if you're saying that you get to, you do have the support of, say, the visuals, but even so, how do you guys, as individual, artists, creators, composers, how do you explore those kind of, when you're the writer's block? What's your process, kind of?
I think we just keep doing it. Like we just like one of the tracks. I think
Yeah, the track that eventually became
Prism. Yeah.
was a tricky one. Like we made many versions of it, because I think what Osham had visualized for that scene. See, also I'll tell you what happens. Like with any song, right? What you would see in it and what I would see in it could be very different in terms of like emotionality. So maybe we hear the same instruments, but in terms of what feelings it evokes and what it might inspire you to make, it could be very different. And I think there was a particular reference track that Osham had in mind that was really special to him. And I think like we struggled to kind of create something that, and it was a really beautiful track. I think we struggled to create something that was uniquely ours but had the same emotionality as that track. And so at some point he was like, why don't we just scrap this? We scrap this process of like creating something like that and making something like that, and why don't we take like a set of sounds? I'll give you a general soundscape, and then you guys now just make something new within this. And that's how we ended up, sometimes it's about like letting go of an idea and moving on to something new and finding something new to say, because it can become very frustrating for the composer as well as the director to just keep going back and forth on a particular idea. Sometimes because ideas are so abstract, and like everyone interprets them in their own way. So it's important as much as it's important to keep trying, it's important to let go and like move on and do something different and try something different. And I think at our end, we kept trying.
Yeah,
we
like
really gave it
like we
our best shot.
We sat with that track and we tried to, not like, when I say get close, I don't mean just ape that whole track. It's not like that, but try to get that soundscape right, try to get that world right. But the more we tried, the more, like, at least to me, at some point, of few of our tracks didn't feel like they came from our heart. And somehow, don't know what it is, why it hap, 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 happens, but I've seen it a lot with our work, that when it really comes from us, like from who we are. And I know it sounds cliche, but somehow it's just true. Like many times, when it comes from straight from us, and not from a zone, or not from not taken from another track, as in inspiration or something. It just, that somehow works way better. And Prism, I think, was all her. Like it was all her, like her style of work, her style of interpreting that brief.
No, it was about ditching
Everything, yeah.
ditching everything, your ideas of what works and what doesn't work, and just being like, okay, let me be a blank slate,
Yeah,
and let's try and just like do something different.
yeah.
So
Right. No, thank you for your honesty on this. Obviously, it's also, I'm sure people, musicians, independent musicians, creators, everyone kind of deals with it in their own way. But as you said, I think probably sometimes it's best to kind of let go or keep at it either. Yeah.
Keep at it is an important because
Yeah.
you can't stop. Like when once you've started a like a show or a film that has a timeline,
Mhm.
that writer's block cannot get a break of a week or like 5 days.
Yeah.
You still have to keep going, but you need to know where to like how to erase the stuff, like the stuff you don't want. And I think that just gets better with time.
Okay, so just coming to now, because you also, you mentioned Still Ocean. Now, both of your independent projects, um, they happen to be two of my favorite. But unfortunately, I think you guys also do so much, or fortunately, I mean for you, but that you do a lot of work outside in movies and ads. That there's not a lot of Meadows and Rust and Still Ocean. So are you working on on this independently as well? More music from you guys.
Will make us
Yeah.
what you no, I've got a couple of tracks like going on, but it's just yeah, like it's just so much work constantly, and it's not like the work is not fun. It's great fun. So we do put a lot of time into our work. So the nowadays the days you get off, which are scarce, when they're off, you just don't want to do anything. And I think the point of Meadows for me is to really just do it on my terms, and
Of
those
course.
terms unfortunately are not mine. It's a cycle.
The
But
irony is evident.
it's
Yeah.
yeah, there's stuff going on. I'm very scared of the things I write, like the words I write. So I get super uh, uh, conscious and stuck there. So I'll have a full track in place and I'll just scrap it because नहीं वो words नहीं ठीक है. But yeah, there's stuff going on. There's some 1 2 tracks which I plan to take out.
Nice. Sorry, I didn't mean to guilt you with my preface.
Absolutely not.
It was
It's
supposed to be
I
a
think
compliment, but
inspiring.
I think sometimes it's necessary also. Like, I get guilted a lot by my friends. They're like, "ये तो कभी नहीं करेगी." You'll always just be doing other things, and
She
you
gets
never,
guilt from me also.
never put out. But I also feel like the more interested I become in filmmaking, I've been making documentary films outside of music, and the more interested I get in filmmaking, the more I realize how important visuals are for music. Then I'm like, I won't release just music. I want to have a music video, but then you have to like get it all done, and it's a big, so you keep mounting the scale of what of what you intend to do, and then it ceases to be like as simple as it once was. And I think like I don't know, it's complicated. Sometimes you have to tell yourself like, just keep it simple, like don't fret. And then at the same time you've loved this music for so long, at least for me, like I've held on to it for a really long time, and so you want to it's your baby, and you want it to have the best possible life out there, and so you want to give it a good education and like feed it good food. And so
For
you're
whoever's watching, that's a perfectionist. That's what they do.
it's like you want to take it to its to its best possible conclusion, and sometimes it's a fallacy. It's something like you can keep trying and perhaps never achieve. So I guess it's something that I'm working on, and I hope to not be not be so like I guess so precious with all of it, and just like be able to put it out there more
Yeah.
easily.
Come on, 4 songs.
That's my hope. But yes, I definitely intend to do it. Like the intent is there.
Some
Yeah.
mad track she's made. Amazing stuff.
Wow, now we can't wait to listen to it even more. Also, you guys, I mean, obviously, you frequently collaborate. So, on that subject, who are maybe some of the other musicians in the independent scene that you would like to collaborate with in the future, whether it's, for a soundtrack or it's for your own own songs? Any names that you have on top of your like wish list?
Like as a singer, I would love to just like go sing for other producers and composers. I really loved what Rusha and Blizzard did, like in class, but also like I've been checking out their music lately.
Yeah, it's pretty
Fantastic
cool.
producers. Would be awesome to like sing for someone like that. Or Pranav Parthi, Karan Kanchan. I think they're doing like really interesting things, and it would be nice to take off composer hat, the producer hat, just be a singer and like, like let go and just like work with another producer and just have a good time on a track. So it would be nice to like,
Like
just
this, yeah. Please call us to sing.